don't see it a matter of pride that half our market could possibly become a part of the e-commerce network 10 years from now. It's a matter of concern. Amazon says we are going to invest $1 billion in India and we all celebrate. We forget the underlying story. Recognize, my friends, India is a developing country. We are not yet America, based on Ernst & Young reports, that in 2019, the share of e-commerce was 4.7%. That's the report written here. And by 2022, they say it has grown to 7.8%. And Rajiv ji said, probably, I don't know what Ashish ji, whether he endorsed that, said that it's nothing to worry about. This growth from 4.7 to 7.8 in 3 years is nothing to worry about. At the same time, the authors have said that the growth of e-commerce is at 27% annually. And they look at it as a source of pride, as a matter of satisfaction, as something very good for India. Now, while all our youngsters here, and including my children, may be using e-commerce quite extensively, we must remember that what we are doing today is going to determine the future of India 20 years, 10 years down the road. Now just do the maths. Anybody here who's from maths or economics will calculate it very quickly, faster than I did. That 4.7 growing to 7.8 in 3 years really confirms the 27% growth he's saying. Which in effect means that every 3 years, or less than 3 years, in 2.5 years, e-commerce will actually grow to double what it is today. But let us take 10% growth in retail demand. Factor in that also, there is a 10% natural growth with the economy which is showing a 10% nominal growth. When you factor that in also, you're looking at 27 minus 10% natural growth, 17% growth every year in e-commerce, which straight away translates to doubling e-commerce in India every 4 years. Not my statistics, it's what's written here. And what Ernst & Young has probably brought out, again, I don't know the source. So, going by his statistics in the book, 4.7% e-commerce share in 19, 7.8 e-commerce share in 22. They've also written they estimate 24 to be 10.7%. It's in the book, which only validates my assumption that every 4 years it's doubling. May not double always every 4 years. As it reaches greater levels, they'll start peaking off. But even if I was to take only 2 cycles of growth in the next 8 years from 24 to 32, effectively we are saying 24, 10.7%, 28, 21.4%, and 32, 43%. Just keep that back of your mind. Now I'll give you an aspect of e-commerce which has been really troubling me a lot. In the same report, there are some details. Here it is. There are some details on page 33, which I'd like you all to debate in the rest of the conversation, where they've estimated the growth and the market share of food and grocery, apparel and accessories, jewelry and watches, consumer electronics, home and living, pharmacy and wellness, others, and footwear. Are we going to cause huge social disruption with this massive growth of e-commerce? And I don't see it a matter of pride that half our market could possibly become a part of the e-commerce network 10 years from now. It's a matter of concern. But I don't deny that e-commerce has a role. But we'll have to think very carefully and cautiously what that role is, how that role can be in a more organized fashion. Is predatory pricing policies good for the country? When Amazon says we are going to invest $1 billion in India and we all celebrate, we forget the underlying story. That $1 billion is not coming in for any great service or any great investment to support the Indian economy. They made $1 billion loss in their balance sheet that year. They have to fill in that loss. And how did that loss get caused? They paid 1,000 crores to professionals. I don't know who these professionals are. I'm myself a chartered accountant. I've done law. But I'd love to know which chartered accountants, professionals, lawyers get 1,000 crores. Unless you're paying all the top lawyers to block them so that nobody can fight a case against you. Recognize, my friends, India is a developing country. We are not yet America. We are not Switzerland with $100,000 of per capita income. All of us in this room in Oberoi are privileged to be here. There's a large section out there who still deserves our affirmative action, who still needs help. Every child in this country has not got the privilege to come to this type of sessions or this type of interactions. We'll obviously get an edge up. And therefore, even when it comes to jobs, when it comes to opportunities for the future of India, I think all of us will have to play our part. Of course, I don't deny that technology will play its part. Technology is a means to empower, is a means to innovate, is a means to meet consumer requirements, probably sometimes more efficiently. But we'll have to see that this grows in an orderly fashion. We will have to see that this connectivity, this convenience is citizen-centric. It democratizes or socializes the benefits to larger sections of society. It ensures that in the race for market share, and a growing market share at 27% a year, we don't land up causing huge disruption for the 100 million small retailers across the country who also serve. Thank you very much.